Welcome everyone to a special summer episode of the SFLOPRO show. I'm your host, Sam Flowers, and next to me is today's casual co-host, Nino. Say hi to everyone, Nino.
Hey everyone, it's me, Nino.
All right, this will be fun. So today we got work, movies, LeVar Ball. Anything can happen. We're going to a party later tonight. All of this coming up next on the SFLOPRO show.
Hey, is this thing on?
The SFLOPRO show.
Well, Dan, why'd you do it then?
You wanna know why I did it? Because my girlfriend likes it when I do that.
With your host, Sam Flowers.
I cannot do this anymore. This video is so terrible, I can barely even talk correctly.
And your casual co-host, Dan and Logan.
Why didn't you choose my Why didn't you choose my Saturday Night Live?
Sam, you don't get the show at all. I turned 17 yesterday. I totally forgot.
That's yours, love.
Only on HPU Radio, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
All right, nice new intro, about 20 seconds longer than the original intro, and, I like it. It doesn't have, it has stuff that we actually said on the radio show, because if you remember, it was a Berlizzi, let's get it, and then Andy Dick from American Dad saying his quote, and then the quotes me, Dan, and Logan said originally, we just recorded that in because we knew we were probably going to say stuff like that a lot, so we just added that in. Post-record, so it's not real, but that stuff is all natural. It's got your favorite moments in
Legit quotes, absolutely.
Legit
Gotta
stuff,
love
legit
it.
quotes. Nino, favorite thing about the new intro?
I think it was just what we were talking about. All the quotes, we get to relive all of our, all of your guys' greatest moments from the past.
Best moments.
Leading into the new show.
I wish we could have had you on one of those, but I couldn't remember if you said anything funny on your phone. Oh, no, yeah, because it was like a
That
March
was a March
Madness.
Madness one.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
I don't think I said anything.
Yeah.
Nah,
You're usually coming more a bit serious type of basketball takes. Originally, we were going to have Julie try to be the other casual co-host for today, but she's working, so... But I think this works a little better because we're going to have to talk about LeVar Ball.
We are, I cannot wait to get to that.
We're getting into that, people. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
That's coming on later in the show. So, yeah. Now, as you might know, we also have a new logo. And there's the one where we're all in our Carolina Panthers gear, and we all look really happy. I cut Luke out of that photo to make it a more accurate representation, yet none of us really like the Carolina Panthers as our favorite team. Like, we like them, but they're not our favorite team.
You got Dan, Logan, and Sam bandwagoning the 500 Panthers.
Hey, Curtis Samuel, my boy, he's going to be raw. And Christian
He is
McCaffrey.
gonna be raw.
Me and Logan rocking those Curtis Samuel, Christian McCaffrey jerseys, and Dan... Dan, if you're listening to this, I don't know which jersey you would get.
Just get another Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, get it. No, I have the Curtis Samuel.
But
No. Get what's his name that went to Jacksonville? Because he actually likes Jacksonville, the running back.
Oh, Fournette.
Yeah, okay, Dan, you can get Fournette. You
That's
can
a good one.
you can still rock that with us. All three. I mean, mine's technically like a hybrid, so it's
It works.
I remember when Curtis Samuel he got drafted to the Carolina Panthers because Logan on his show, he did like a mock draft for the first round. This is on the Young and the Rest of Us, of course, if you don't know what we're talking about. But it was like a mock draft, and it's like you had to give in what you think the first 10 picks are. And me and this one other kid... Excuse me. Me and this one other kid... Don't be surprised. So me and this one other kid, his other best friend, Will, his hometown friend, he's like my Reese Deanna, essentially. We were both the final two because ours were tied for like who had the most accurate. And I forget who it was. Whoever was the actual first running back that got taken, it wasn't Joe Mixon. It was someone else in the second round. But like,
I don't know.
it doesn't matter. But I predicted correctly. But I almost said, just to be spiteful because I really didn't care that much. I almost said that I should put in Curtis Samuel, which also he got drafted before Joe Mixon, so I would have been correct.
That's
However,
true.
he was taken as a wide receiver, so I would have been incorrect.
Yeah.
But,
Which is a shame because he plays both.
the point is he's a great hybrid player, so, it happens, and I think I was pretty good, pretty accurate, and, yeah, that card is, I can't even remember what the card is. It's North Carolina Panthers. He got picked to Dallas, wide receiver. He was a guest on the Young and the Rest of Us. Switzer, thank you.
Ryan Switzer, yep.
He's a guest. He was a phone guest on the Young and the Rest of Us. So, yeah, that's good. Nino, you're a listener of the Young and the Rest of Us.
Yes, I am.
Tell us what your thoughts of the show are.
I love the show. I think the dichotomy between...
Dichotomy?
Yes.
That's a word?
Yes, it is a word.
I've never heard that word.
Well, now you know it's a word.
You learn something new every day. Continue.
Yes,
Continue.
you do. I think the dichotomy between both people on the show are fantastic, and I think that Tim Bussey is crazy, but in a very good way.
Yeah, that's good. He'll love hearing that. I know that the Xbox 360 is probably what you're hearing in the background, just
that
running.
would be the fan. You want me to turn it on?
No, we need to keep it on just in case Zach or Ben runs
that's a
down
good
here, and then because I know they will make fun of me. They'll make fun of me regardless, but if
that's
they
true.
see it with this, then it'll be
Yeah.
like more than what it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what it is. Nino, what have you been up to over the summer?
Working and more working.
Where do you work at?
I work at a place called Filio's. It is a restaurant that makes wood-fired pizzas, and for some of you that are, maybe you go to Ohio State or you just know about the Columbus area, there are actually 2 Filio's in Columbus. So, yeah, you may have heard the name.
I don't think I think out of all the types of jobs there are, I don't think I could do anything in the food industry.
Really?
I feel like it's such a high pressure situation to try to get everything so correctly done. And, also you kind of have to make it fast and everything, and I'm not very good at making things.
Yeah.
You gotta get the order right.
Mhm.
They might not be able to read my handwriting because I have dysgraphia if I was a waiter. I could be maybe like a busboy if anything, but that's it.
I mean, honestly, it just takes getting used to.
Yeah.
It's like, once you've done it enough times, it's like just instantly you know.
Yeah, just for really any food place, unless maybe it was a fancy restaurant where...
Now I was worried about myself.
Yeah,
With the
of course.
expletives.
I warned Nino before the show comes on, don't swear. And what do I do 7.5 minutes in? I curse. Anyways, unless it was a place that kind of took its time with the cooking, or if it was a secret recipe that only I knew, like if I worked at the Krusty Krab,
Mhm.
I think I could do a good job. So, that's that. Yes, I have also been working over the summer. I work at Serva Mortgaging. It's a place where my dad works at. If you remember my dad, he got every prediction wrong for that one weekend in football. He thought Penn State would lose to Wisconsin. He thought... I can't remember. The point is he got it all wrong. It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in the archives. On
You'll
YouTube.
find it.
It's on YouTube.
You'll look hard enough.
It's somewhere. But the point is, basically, all I do is I find the mortgage, I find the deed of trust, I find the note, and I just stamp it. And I mean, I do that, and the whole process of it all, it's about 2 hours worth of my time. If there's 3, if there's 30, actually, if there's 30, it would probably be 3, maybe 3.5 hours, but it all takes about the same time because I take an hour lunch break in between, but I don't really count that. But the point is, it's really just boring, busy work. If you're one of those kids who in school was like, I hate this because they're giving me busy work, and I'm always the kid who's just like, who cares if it's busy work? It's easy, points. That's kind of my approach to this. It's easy money that I'm making, so I don't really care. I watch TV and movies and listen to podcasts while I work. So, I'm kind of able to get something done that I want to do while I do something I don't want to do. But lately, they gave me a new type of position, or not a new position, they gave me a new thing to do, which is essentially I have to find out if there's a title policy or a mortgage, and then I have to type in the date for that. And originally, since I wasn't really paying that much attention because it seemed so easy, I would only type in the title policy. However, that was completely wrong, so I had to go back. There's 300 copies that I went through in a span of about a week. So now I have another week of 300 copies that are the same copies to go through them all again and do them the right time. Now, you would think, Sam, that sounds like that sucks. But the thing is, I really don't want to go any further steps because I hear there's like scanning and like you have to type in on a calculator what the right thing is. So I don't want to do any of that stuff. So I'd almost rather just have this take as long as possible. That way I have to do less because I end on the 11th.
Yeah, I mean, why try?
Why try?
More than you have to.
Why try when you can fail and slow everything down?
Exactly. And that is your life advice with Sam and Nino. As you can tell, we are great role models.
Hey, I have my own radio, I have my own radio show / podcast, yet I still need it to be on iTunes, so I'm about 50-50. You think what do you think will make us talk longer, LeVar Ball or movies? I'll let you make the call because you're a special guest host.
I actually really want to talk about LeVar Ball because I think I have a pretty interesting take.
Okay, please give us your take.
So, I actually love LeVar Ball.
Okay.
I love everything that he's doing because in my thinking, in my opinion, it's just so obvious that, I think he's just trolling NBA fans everywhere and basketball fans everywhere. I just feel like he's doing this because it'll get his son's notice. And, I mean, come on. Who have you heard about more? Lonzo Ball or Markelle Fultz? Seriously. And that's because of LeVar Ball and how outrageous he is. But it's just so darn entertaining. So I just feel that, if he's on, whether their mic is in front of him or he's on TV or just wherever, I just love it. I can't get enough of it. I think he's great. I really honestly don't care what he's talking about. As long as he's talking, I am interested and I am probably laughing because he's just so ridiculous, but in such a good and memorable way that I am not bothered by it. He's honestly he just seems like a guy from like WWF or the WWE or whatever put into basketball, and I'm just loving every second of it.
You see, I feel the same way about LeVar Ball. And I almost wish that we had some sort of differing opinions on this, but whatever.
If you would have asked me like 3 months ago, I probably would have been like, "Oh, I hate this guy." But now I'm just like, I honestly, I don't care. I love
totally
it now.
fine. I like somebody who agrees with my opinion on LeVar Ball. Look, LeVar Ball, this guy is hilarious. All right, I need to get one of his "Stay in Your Lane" shirts. But the man is a marketing genius. I mean, think about it. Well, Lonzo Ball, even though he's doing good in the D League, Summer League, whatever, which doesn't matter because it's the lowest competition, he better be doing good for being a number 2 pick. But, I mean, Lonzo Ball, let's be honest, I don't think he's like a top 3 pick. I think he's maybe, he's top 10, yeah. But
I mean, only time will tell. He was obviously great in UCLA for his year there.
I think he kind of had a bad ending against Kentucky.
Agreed. I mean, De'Aaron Fox ate him up.
I'm full on board with De'Aaron Fox.
He's really good. He's a good cat, no pun intended. Actually, a pun was very intended there.
I think he would probably be the 5th or who got picked 6. Do you remember?
That was Jonathan Isaac from Florida State.
Yeah, no, I think I'd take Lonzo over. Okay, so to me, he's maybe like the 5th best player.
I thought he was, 3rd or 4th best player.
But think about it. This guy,
Nice.
This guy telling everybody that he's gonna go to the Lakers. He's gonna make him go to the playoffs. He's gonna bring back the Laker glory. And, people are believing him. He convinced Magical Johnson.
Yeah.
Pun intended on Magical Johnson. Ayo. He convinced Magic Johnson to basically draft this kid and put all of his hopes and dreams into him. Now, he also traded D'Angelo Russell because he's not going to be a leader. And Lonzo, he probably is more of a leader than him.
I would say so.
Because I don't remember D'Angelo Russell at Ohio State doing, any type of... if he was probably more of a leader, they probably could have gone further or been a better team. He was a really good, talented person, but he needed to lead that team.
I agree. I mean, they were, even with that being said, they were still a really good team with him there. But, I kind of think Lonzo needed to be on his own in the backcourt. You know, he didn't need. I don't think it was good for him, for his game, that D'Lo would be, stealing shots and, stealing, just having the ball with him. I just don't think it would have worked. And I think with Lonzo solely having the spotlight, I think he's going to thrive in LA.
Yeah.
Where he's clearly wanted. The fans love him. They have full faith that he's going to, be their point guard for the next decade or so. And honestly, more power to him. I think I'm pretty confident that they are going to be able to build a good team around him. Will they get championships? Excuse me. Who knows? But I think it'll work out.
Yeah, he'll probably do fine there. He will work in that late, like he did. Even though I said he was probably like the 5th best player in the draft, he probably does work the best in LA.
Mm-hmm.
But also, yeah. Hold on, I had a point. Where was it? Can you? What was the last sentence you said, Nino? I had something.
Lessons of what of LeVar or Lonzo?
Lonzo.
I was just talking about how he's good for their future, and
Yes, good for the future. That's what it was. They will get LeBron James. No, actually, we can get into that later. We will get to LeBron James stuff later. Okay. So, anyways, LeVar Ball, love him or hate him, I want you to imagine your next door neighbor is just a normal guy, which a lot of people's next door neighbors probably are. So this isn't far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, okay, wait, hold on. No. Scratch that. Nino, this might be more helpful to you. Imagine Brody Miller, my next door neighbor.
Uh-huh.
Now imagine Mr. Miller, and he's really good in everything, and he's getting recruited by everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's Lonzo, level of good.
Yeah.
Imagine Mr. Miller going crazy. I think this would be 10 times more enjoyable.
It'd be awesome.
So
We'd all love it.
That's the thing. You might not like the guy just because you
From
don't
afar.
because you don't really know the guy. But if he was your next door neighbor and he was doing all of this crazy stuff, you would be like, "This is insane.
You'd find
What is this man doing?"
I think everyone would find it hilarious if their next door neighbor acted that unabashedly.
Oh my
about
God.
His prodigy
Oh my
son
God.
all the time.
I almost wish
Honestly, I kind of do
was that
too.
good.
Just to see that, why not?
Brody Miller, if you're listening to this, you should have been better at basketball.
Shots fired. Just kidding.
He's
I know,
not
it's
listening.
A joke.
Nino,
And I also
Nino, was he good at basketball? I can't remember.
good shooter.
Good shooter.
He was definitely a marksman. I think he.
NBA comparison. give us our Jalen Smith NBA comparison.
You mean Jalen Rose?
Jalen Rose.
Okay, if we're gonna do Jalen Rose, well, now I'm gonna have to find someone that's white because that's all Jalen Rose bases his comparisons off of his race. So,
yes.
Anyways, moving on, I guess. Actually, what were we moving on from? Were we moving on from anything?
We were talking about how it would be hilarious if your next door neighbor was going crazy.
We were talking about that.
Keeping up with the LeVar Balls.
Yeah.
Now, his other two sons, let's be honest, Lonzo will be his best.
I think so.
Out of the three, you got Lonzo, then you got...
LiAngelo.
LiAngelo's the second one?
Yes, he's the middle one. He's also...
Is LiAngelo's the worst out of the three, right?
Yes, he is I think he's a 3-star recruit. He's already committed to UCLA because all three Ball brothers are going to be a part of the UCLA basketball program.
Yeah.
But apparently, LiAngelo is a 3-star prospect, and apparently he's a little overweight and not that in great basketball shape.
And
so no one really expects him to, contribute that
now,
much.
LeVar said two things. He said, "I'm going to be here next year, don't worry." But he also said that he doesn't think he's going to make it to the NBA.
Yes, he did say that.
So,
which also, circling back to LeVar Ball, it also seems that he has this realization that he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying.
Oh.
He has he knows, the realistic standards for his kids.
Do not at all think that he is... That's, again, why I think he's such a genius. Don't think that he's just doing this because he's caught in, the high of fame and everything.
He's not, caught in the moment. He's not
knows.
all up in the hype. He knows exactly
what he was doing on that Colin Cowherd couch and told Christine Leahy to stay in her lane. By the way, she should have. Let's be honest. She was asking, stupid questions.
I mean, honestly, every interview I see with, LeVar Ball these days. All the interviewers are asking him just these ridiculous questions. I remember on draft night, Lonzo got drafted. Some ESPN reporter was asking him if this was the greatest day in his life was. He said it was the second. She asked him what the first was. He said, obviously, the birth of his kids. That obviously everyone, almost every father would say that.
Yeah.
But then for some really stupid reason, the ESPN reporter is like, oh, I thought you would say creating the Big Baller brand. And at that point, I verbally sighed because it was just such a stupid comment to say.
It's like,
of course he's going to say his kids.
It's like, come on.
It's his own flesh and blood.
You're being a little hard on LeVar. Now I remember what my point was from like 5 minutes ago. Okay, I think Lonzo will also thrive in the pressure. I feel like he's one of those people that like he almost
he's used to playing in LA.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of those people that wants more pressure on him because he thinks like it'll help him out. It might get like more recognition towards him, and he's going to want to play better because of it. So I think he actually almost will thrive better with the pressure.
I think so. I mean, he has all the spotlight, even going into something as, I hate to say it because it is somewhat important, but something as trivial as Summer League.
Summer League, which he's the MVP of, but that's useless.
And
that's like the NFL preseason.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, no one really cares.
It's
obviously, the players and the coaches care, but like to us fans, do we care?
It's
no,
like,
not really.
It's like the Steelers. They always go 0-4 in the preseason, and then they win the division.
Exactly. So
speaking of which, they will probably win the division.
I do believe that they will. In my totally non-biased opinion,
let's be honest here.
Win the division.
Browns are out. Yeah. Bengals, I don't know what they're doing.
Bengals are mediocre, and they're going to stay mediocre for the next 5 years. Yes, you can quote me on that. If I am wrong about that, so be it.
Let's come back here in 5 years.
I am 99.999% that they will be an 8-8 team for the next 5 years.
I mean, that's 500. Considering how the Browns have been, 8-8 would be like they'd throw a parade.
Yeah, but for the Bengals, where they've actually had expectations and playoff caliber teams.
Oh yeah, in general, it's like just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Ravens are going to be good. Great defense.
Yeah.
Pretty mediocre offense.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers, great offense. Above average defense. Average to above average defense.
Yeah, I'd totes my goats to agree to that. Steelers, to me, I know we were talking about
totally
LeVar Ball.
Off on a tangent.
I know we were talking about LeVar Ball. Now we're somehow in the NFL.
LeVar Ball and the Lakers to the Steelers.
I don't even remember how we got here. That's not just like because of tonight. Like that's just in general.
That's
a behind the scenes type of thing. Whenever we go from one spot to another, I never remember until I do the re-listen for any edits on how we get to those spots. Mm-hmm. Like you got to let me re-listen to the whole thing. That is not the point though. So let's just get quick NFL predictions in. So AFC East, Patriots. AFC North,
Steelers.
South.
South, I am going to. I'll take the Texans.
Okay, wait. Texans. Who's in the South again?
Texans, Titans, Colts, Jaguars.
I really do want to say Colts because they are my favorite out of that, but it seems like Texans.
It's just Andrew Luck and the Colts are basically Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, and a bunch of guys, and that's not going to get it done against like the Titans and such a great defense.
How am I forgetting his name from Ohio State that got drafted to the Colts? How am I forgetting that?
Was it like Noah Brown?
No, it wasn't Noah Brown. It was somebody on defense. How am I forgetting this?
It was it was Malik Hooker.
Malik Hooker.
That was a fantastic.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like now
that was the steal of the draft.
Even though I'm saying the Texans are probably going to win that division, I feel like he's going to be very helpful.
Yes.
In that Colts defensive scheme.
I feel like
that was like the perfect place for him to go. Probably.
I think a lot of teams are going to regret passing on him.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how he fell.
You can quote me on this. In 5 years, he's going to be a Pro Bowler. You can quote me on that.
Honestly, I agree with that. He was. I had him as a top 5 player going into the draft. I thought, I watched him with my own 2 eyes on the field. I felt like he was that good. And I still have no idea
that Ohio State-Michigan game.
Dude.
That was like magic. That was magic. If you don't believe in magic, watch that Ohio State-Michigan game from 2016.
And even if you do believe in magic, watch it anyway.
Yeah. Watch it.
It's just so awesome.
It's so good. Like, I mean, Okay, AFC West, Broncos?
I'm thinking
Raiders. No,
Raiders.
yeah, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
If Derek Carr can stay healthy.
Yes.
Now.
Well, even if he does, I think we still have to watch out for the Chiefs. Still have a great defense. And they have enough playmakers on offense that in a 16-game season, they could make it work. In the playoffs, maybe not so much because it's only one game. But over, a large enough sample size,
I think my whole entire life,
they could get it done.
I have never truly believed in the Chiefs.
That's
Now,
understandable.
They've made it to Super Bowls way before I was born. I don't know when their last one is. I can't pull that fact out.
Yeah, no, that was.
I know I've never
I
have personally never seen them in a Super Bowl, so maybe that's one reason.
Never has happened in our lifetime.
And they've lost. They usually lose like the first round in every playoff game, right? Yeah.
It's usually,
that's probably
divisional round stuff, wild card stuff.
That's probably why.
It's not like that they have bad teams. It's just that they're not a great team.
Yeah.
They're a very good team.
Maybe that's why I always think then that the Chiefs, I every time whenever I try to make these predictions, I never think to pick the Chiefs. I always think Broncos, they have a good offense, they got a really good defense. Raiders more recently, of course. Mm-hmm. Their offense has been getting better and better and better throughout the years.
And their defense has, they have Khalil Mack. That's all you need to really say.
And the Chargers, I know they've been bad, but at least like years past, the past, I'm saying.
In Phillip Rivers' prime.
In Phillip Rivers' prime, yes. When they also had LT. They were like top of the conference.
Yes. Yeah. They were always, a top 2 team.
Yeah.
Top 2 or 3 team.
So like it makes sense to pick them. I really don't think I've ever thought of the Chiefs.
Think about that. You had, back, what would that have been? Like God. Mid to late 2000s, you had LT, Rivers, and Gates on one team.
How?
You had Big Ben in that Steelers defense in the north. You had Tom Brady and the Patriots in the east. And then you had, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Isaac Bruce, I believe, was there, up in Indy.
Dude, how did that?
What a time to be alive!
What a time to be alive, and we barely remember it. Peyton Manning and the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like when you just say that, it's like I'm thinking, how did the Chargers not make a Super Bowl?
That
team is so good.
You would have thought that they'd at least make it once, just out of dumb luck.
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
Peyton Manning. It was Peyton Manning and Big Ben, right? Because it was like a flip flop basically for Super Bowls. With them.
Yeah, and Brady, obviously.
And Brady, yeah, I forgot about him.
Well, honestly, not really. After 2005, not really.
Yeah, it was a gap. It was a gap. Then
Ben.
they had their 17-0 loss at the last minute,
and then just dominated from there on out. Yeah.
I don't know how he's been like more dominant in these years than what should have been his prime years. It's like weird to think that. Now, having said that, let's not get too in deep into that because that's a future topic. Well, sort of what the NFL would look like post Brady. Mm-hmm. That's a future topic for a future SFLOPRO episode.
I cannot wait till that day comes. That day cannot come sooner enough. But I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. NFC, the NFC South.
I like the Bucks.
Wait, hold on. They're NFC East.
No, they're South.
No, I was gonna say Cowboys. But
you're gonna say East? You want to go with the NFC
I meant to say East.
All right,
I said
we'll go
South.
with the East.
Okay, East. I'm saying Cowboys because it could be any of the four. Because every single year it's always any of the four. Cowboys just won it last year. They have Dak. I don't know why they want to suspend Zeke. I'm not reading into any of that. I refuse to. So I'm just saying, pick Cowboys.
That'll be interesting to see what happens with Zeke.
Giants, though, they did improve over the offseason.
I think I actually like the Giants simply because an NFC East team has not won
2 years in a row.
Yeah, they have not won the division back-to-back for a long time. I think it's been since the Eagles during the Donovan McNabb years. I think. Don't quote me on that. But honestly,
come back in 5 years.
Doing a lot of 5-year things, but more to the point.
Let's make predictions that'll come true in 5 years.
Be the prophets of the sports world.
Yes.
But I think not only that fact, I believe Dallas lost a couple pieces of their line. Not huge pieces like Tyrone Smith or Travis Frederick, but I think they lost, what was it, like their left tackle and their left guard and their right tackle? Something like that. I'd have to check. But not only that, but the Giants' defense is as strong as ever. That secondary is fantastic. Their defensive line is fantastic. Eli can get hot at any moment. They have a very good receiving core of Marshall, Beckham Jr., and
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard was great for my fantasy
Very
team.
good slot receiver.
I drafted him, and I was like, I mean, I guess he's at the top of the best projected, and then he actually did, like, really good for my team.
He's a good player. I think he'll break out a little bit even more than he did last year. Especially with all the attention that
him and
Beckham
Mike
Jr. and Marshall are going to get. He's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities and a lot of opportunities to just sit in the zone and just create havoc.
Him and Michael Thomas, I feel like, will be kind of like a good back-to-back for, like, sophomore wide receiver core.
I agree.
Now, I'm definitely going to be on Michael Thomas's side, of course.
Yeah.
Ohio State. But
Plus,
still.
not only that, but he's a number one wide receiver with Drew freaking Brees throwing.
Oh, my God.
That's...
I mean, them losing Brandon Cooks, like, yeah, it's good for the Patriots and probably terrible for the NFL because their team is stronger, but it's so good for him. He's, like, the only guy profiting from
Michael
it.
Thomas is going to make a lot more money off of that in the future.
He should be glad that his team got worse. NFC South.
As I said, I like the Bucs.
I'm feeling that also.
I know the Falcons are coming off of a
The thing is, though,
Super Bowl appearance, but so did the Panthers last year, and they were bad. Although I like the Falcons more this year than the Panthers last year.
The thing is, the last team that choked to Tom Brady before the Falcons in the Super Bowl was the Seahawks, and they've been on a slow, like, slant downward. Now, granted,
They're still good.
Spoiler alert, we're gonna have them probably winning.
They're gonna win the NFC.
But
I don't think there's any debate between us about that.
We're having them win the West.
Yeah.
But they have not been as good as they were since that choke. So that's what I feel like could happen to the Falcons.
Yeah, where they're just good, but
also,
not good enough.
Didn't that happen? I don't remember because I was so young. Didn't that happen to, like, the Panthers and Panthers and Eagles when they lost to Brady also?
I don't think necessarily with the Eagles. I think they were always really good. I mean, they had as the aforementioned McNabb. They had Westbrook.
Yeah,
the running back. He was fantastic. He was a Pro Bowl caliber guy. They were always good. They were always a threat to win the Super Bowl. It just never happened.
But didn't they kind of go on a slow kind of
eventually?
steep?
But not to the extent that I think you're thinking of. The Panthers, yes.
And then who was the other team that lost to the Patriots?
Panthers.
No,
and the Rams.
Rams.
They've
definitely been. So it's. I feel like it's almost kind of like
a Brady effect.
Yeah. Where you could start to go because
like you get your one chance.
What
you're
saying with the Eagles is almost what you could say with the Seahawks. Like they're still going to be really good at everything,
a good team.
But they're just going to slowly kind of.
They're just not really going to be. I think their Super Bowl window is closed. I think this is because if they had a better offensive line, I would say they would probably be a top 2 team in the NFC. But the fact is that their offensive line sucks. And their defense isn't getting any younger.
I also feel the Bucs, and let's just go quick with the NFC North because I have one other thing to say about the Bucs. Yeah, Packers. We don't need to talk anymore. Yeah. However, though, Lions, raw New Jerseys.
Okay. Agreed.
Anyways, Bucs. Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota.
Oh, I hope they meet.
Why can those two? I really want those two to be better so badly, so that we have a great rivalry.
Because they're already really good.
They are, but I feel like they could be better. And think about it: they met in the Rose Bowl, so like it's almost
There's
like a
history there.
It's like a Magic and Bird type of thing. They met in college, and now if they keep meeting in the pros, how amazing would that be?
I think it's going to happen. I mean, they both have very young teams. They both have promising futures, and they're both very good young quarterbacks. By the time guys like Ben, Breeze, Brady,
which I feel like
gone, which is
probably within the next 3 seasons, 2020, they're definitely all out. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Brady might last just because he's
gonna
smart
and he's gonna be a jerk about it. He'll pull a Peyton Manning, have a terrible season, but be like, no, I'm still gonna stay here.
I think Breeze, he could probably last a little bit. I think Ben is gone. Ben has, as a Steelers fan,
Ben Roethlisberger's like gone after this year, right?
I've been seeing the retirement rumors all throughout the summer. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen next summer. But I think he's got 3 years max.
I
mean, barring a major injury, I think he's got another, 2 or 3 years.
I actually think, even though he gets pumped up with horse steroids whenever he gets injured, I actually do think he is going to end after this year. I think, because I also read somewhere, I think Bell wants out?
Nah, all right.
Or something's happening with Bell.
I'm gonna talk to you guys about Le'Veon Bell and the Le'Veon Bell situation. So what's happening is he has been franchise tagged for this year, which is a fully guaranteed 1-year, $12 million contract. Now, during the summer, he was able to negotiate an extension that would get rid of the tag and give him a better long-term contract. However, him and the Steelers organization could not get to an agreement on that. So, therefore, Bell's kind of not thrilled with his future situation right now. There's a holdup over, guaranteed money long term and blah, blah, blah. Basically, I feel like most people in the Steelers organization as well know that he isn't reliable enough to play a full season as of yet. I think that if he plays anywhere from 13 to 16 games plus the playoffs this year, he will be re-signed by the Steelers and he will not hit free agency. He does want to be there. I've read numerous articles and numerous verified Twitter accounts saying that he does in fact want to be in Pittsburgh. It's just a holdup over guaranteed money. He wants, I think, he basically wants to set the running back market by being the highest paid running back out of everyone. Currently, the highest paid is LaShawn McCoy at $8 million a year. He's easily going to pass that. He'll get at the very least $12 million. The Steelers offered 5 years for $12 million annually, but only 1 year guaranteed. And since he already has a year guaranteed on the franchise tag, it'd be pointless to sign that contract. So he'll try and get more money over next summer, but honestly, I don't see him making anywhere near the $15 million that he apparently wants. I think it's going to be more $12 million, but with more years guaranteed in the future.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, but so as you just said, with all that stuff with Bell, he'll probably stay and all that. I just think maybe if they draft a new quarterback next season, I don't know who they would draft. I can't even think of what position they'll be at. They'll probably, if I'm saying they're going to win the division, then they'll probably be somewhere playoff. Last 8 spots maybe, because I would imagine they'd make the divisional round. But anyways, the point is they should get a quarterback in next year's draft and prepare for Big Ben's departure.
Yes, they will need to prepare for life after Big Ben. I think
he's going to retire next year.
Hypothetically, if the Steelers win the Super Bowl, I could see him going out on that high.
Yeah. Then let's get to that really fast, because I want to move on to the next topic.
All right, so, yeah, in that
Super
case,
Bowl.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I'm going to say what I think the most fun one would be first.
Go ahead.
Raiders versus Cowboys. That sounds like that would be the perfect Super Bowl, because that's essentially two of the craziest fan bases and most aggressive teams going at each other at the biggest stage. That sounds like that would be the most fun.
You know
right?
what would be a crazy Super Bowl? The Las Vegas Raiders in the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, yeah, that would of course be.
That would be crazy.
I'm just saying right now, though.
I feel it'd be a very fun matchup. I personally hate both teams, so I would loathe to see that. But in terms of pure entertainment value, that would be fun as heck to watch. It would be a battle.
I think then... Okay, so now let's go for accuracy instead of fun.
All right, accuracy...
We can all agree. That would be the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, accuracy... I'm just going to say... I hate to say Patriots will probably win AFC.
Yeah, I have them winning the AFC too.
And then NFC... let's just say... I would probably say... Because I don't know necessarily about the Cowboys now. I feel like they could. I know the Bucks for sure aren't, and neither are the two wild card teams, because I'm not even going to care to think about who they'd be. I'm going to say the Packers, and I would love to see Aaron Rodgers defeat Tom Brady.
The thing is, I have that exact same Super Bowl matchup.
Really?
That was mine too. I actually thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to win MVP last year, So, but I think he's due for one, so I'm just going to keep saying that until he eventually does get one. So,
I
think he's
Aaron
consistently
Rodgers.
put up MVP-type numbers. He is a top 3 quarterback in this league, no doubt.
Let's be honest.
I think
Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback we've ever seen. Like, Tom Brady might be the best winner, and Peyton Manning might be the best passer. Drew Brees is also up there. He's very good also. To me, personally, I think Aaron Rodgers, just like the things he can do.
in terms of pure talent.
In terms of pure talent and, like, all around, he might be the best I've ever seen.
Honestly, I think there's an argument for that. If you look at it, he already has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
He sure as heck has the numbers.
That's why I want to see him win another one, because then that can help me with saying that.
Yeah, I think if he gets, another ring, an MVP, he's going to be the heir apparent to Tom Brady easily if that happens. Especially if he beats him. That's a passing of the torch from...
But let's be fair, we've been saying for the past, 3 or 4 Super Bowls, this is a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
We said that with the Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be Wilson. We thought it was going to be with Newton. We thought it was going to be Ryan. And he's beat all of them.
Yeah.
So.
Don't think passing of the torch. But also, Aaron Rodgers would be a little bit, he's not that old in terms of quarterback years, but he's a little bit, too old to really say, let's pass this kid the torch. I feel like, now, let's just say, for argument's sake, it was Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
He got to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That would be a passing of the torch, because he's still relatively new.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Cam Newton was and Russell Wilson was. Even Russell Wilson, if he won another Super Bowl, I don't think I'd say this is a passing of the torch type of situation, because he's kind of old.
But that's because he wasn't on that kind of level that the Bradys and the Rodgers are on.
I feel like Rodgers is also already at that level, and in terms of years experience, it's not really passing the torch. Maybe.
You know what I would compare it to? I would compare it to the Kobe era going into the LeBron era.
Okay.
Because LeBron wasn't exactly a youngin' when he kind of took the mantle from Kobe of being the best player on the planet.
Yeah.
He wasn't, 22 or 23 or anything. He was...
Okay.
He was, 27, 28? He was...
About, yeah.
So...
27, I think.
Yeah. So I feel like it could be that same thing where Kobe passed it on to LeBron right in LeBron's prime, not before LeBron's prime. Would be the same thing with Brady.
Okay.
They're passing it to it in Rodgers' time.
Yeah.
In Rodgers' prime.
I feel that. That's more accurate, I would say, definitely. It's a shame that we never saw a Kobe LeBron finals.
It is a shame.
That would have been the best.
That would have been the best.
Well, who did he face? The Mavericks? Were the Lakers good that year? Was that their last good year before Kobe just blatantly stopped trying?
I think it was... Wasn't it... Well, there were a couple times it should have happened. In 2009, Cavs were, I think, pretty favorited to go to the finals. It's going to be...
and they lost to the Magic.
They lost in 6 to the Magic. And then that was one of the years.
That was one, and then I think 2011.
No, it was
2012. And
was it 12 or 13? It was the year that Dwight went to the Lakers, and then Paul was traded to the Lakers, but it was vetoed, and they got Nash instead.
12.
Or the corpse of Steve Nash.
Oh my God! I heard Steve Nash. He apparently said that the easiest way to get a triple-double, you just have to think, I'm going to get 2 rebounds this quarter, I'm going to get 2 assists this quarter, and I'm just going to score, a bucket this quarter.
Yeah.
And then maybe just, once you get at the end of the game, since you're in such a good flow. Mm-hmm. So it really does make you think, man, getting a triple-double cannot be that difficult when you say 2, 2, 2, 2, and just try a little harder at the end.
I mean, that is a way to look at it, because it all adds up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've seen how hard, even though Harden and Russ make it look effortless, there's a reason it hadn't been done much up until that point.
Can I be honest? I really wish James Harden would have won the MVP over Steph Curry 3 years ago.
I thought he should have won it.
He definitely should have. And then even the players, when they did the stupid...
Yeah, the player
awards.
They gave Harden the players MVP.
Talk about a useless award show. And I love award shows, don't get me wrong, but that one is useless. We done with NBA and sports? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. We got 15 minutes left.
All right.
Let's talk about what I want to talk about, movies.
All right.
Nino, what's maybe the best summer movie you've seen so far? And when I mean summer, I mean from May 1st till, I guess, technically now.
Okay, well, full disclosure, I did not see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, so I will not comment on it.
Fair.
I will leave that
I
to
will
Sam,
also not comment on it.
Or he won't.
I mean, like, I would, but honestly, to me, don't get me wrong, it's great. It's a 4.5 out of 5, but out of all the superhero movies I've seen so far, it's my least favorite. Nino, continue on.
Best summer movie.
Did you see War for the Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
Okay, what did you think of that? Because I didn't see it, but just tell me your thoughts.
I liked it. I thought it was a 4 out of 5. I didn't think it was anything truly special.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It was good.
Now,
It was...
me personally, I'm not the biggest out of this reboot, like, Apes fan. I love the very original one. I think it's a masterful cinematic movie.
It is.
From just about every single aspect.
Yeah.
I don't care about
I don't
care about the
that.
4 sequels after that. I've never saw them. And then these 3. The first one I like. I don't think it's fantastic or anything. And then Dawn, I only like the second half of it. The first half is boring. And then this War, I'm probably going to see with my dad on Sunday. I think he said we were going to see it. But I haven't seen it yet. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of these, but still.
I think... And honestly, I kind of agree with you. Well, I disagree with you about the second one. I like the second one. I didn't think it was. Yeah, sure. Did it have pacing issues? Yes. Yeah. Did I think it was that boring? No.
Like to me, the first half, I really don't care about what's happening.
Yeah.
As soon as it hits that 1 hour mark, I'm like, oh, I'm fully on board. And I looked online. It's timed out. The 1 minute, the 1 hour mark is when I'm like, yeah, this is actually when I start liking the movie.
Yeah, I think, and honestly, that's what I think about the Apes movies. They're good. They're not great. I think you'll like War.
I would imagine I would like it, but I don't think I'll think it's anything
You won't be blown away by it.
Yeah.
You'll like it.
Granted,
you'll be like, okay, it was money well spent.
Now, give it credit. The special effects are fantastic.
They are.
But at the same time, you have to expect those to be fantastic. So you're not going to be like, oh, that's the best thing about the movie. If that's really the best thing about the movie, I'm going to be like, that's a disappointment.
I would say that it is, while it is very good, it is not the best part of the movie.
That's good to hear. I don't want that to be the thing I take away. And if I ever take away, other than maybe just the movie Gravity and Avatar, I mean, like, granted, Avatar I've liked a little bit less and less with more rewatches.
I think
Gravity's, it's been a slow decline. But still, those are the only 2 where I'm like, the visual effects, that's all you need to take away from this. So, yeah.
But I think... see, here's the thing. I feel like I'd have to decide between... And I know this is going to be super cliche, picking superhero movies in the summer.
You know what? That's completely fine, because other than Baby Driver, every single other superhero movie has been probably my second favorite movie, not counting Baby Driver.
Yeah.
So I guess technically third.
And honestly, Baby Driver's fantastic.
Baby Driver's so good.
It is such a good movie.
Other than the first act, which is slow, but everything else kind of makes up for it.
It is definitely something that is a really good watch. I think that's definitely a contender for movie of the summer.
I think right now, my top 3 movies, number 1, Fate of the Furious.
Oh my god.
I love that franchise. If you don't love the franchise, fine. But personally, if you're somebody that does love the franchise, you gotta love it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Number 2, Baby Driver. And Baby Driver could almost be number 1. Like, there's so many movies. Like, I love all these movies, and I need to rewatch them. And then number 3 is literally every superhero movie that's come out this year.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean...
They've all been great.
They all have been. I mean, I loved Spider-Man: Homecoming,
and I loved that. I loved Wonder Woman. I loved Logan, and I loved Lego Batman.
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, great, but least favorite.
Well, in terms of summer movies,
let's stick to that.
I kind of want to see Baby Driver, because with Spider-Man, I feel like they got right, the action, the stuff with the plane at the end. I don't want to get into...
Let's not... Hold on. Let's just say... Let's say no, because we're running out of time, so let's not get into spoilers.
Overall, Spider-Man, I like the action. I like the characterization, the character development, especially on Peter Parker's part, and even with some of the side characters. Didn't like that much.
The romance is kind of weak.
Yeah, it is.
I will give it that. But also, you could say that for Baby Driver.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the worst part.
Yeah,
of
that's
the movie.
probably the worst. That's probably the most egregious part of the movie. With Wonder Woman, I absolutely love the side characters. I love Wonder Woman. I love the Amazons.
I love everything about it except the third act.
Ares was in,
Yeah.
and the final action, the final
action scene is and Ares itself is
And so
but,
with those, but then with Baby Driver, you've got the romance, which is but I feel like it's less than the others are So that's why I kind of think it's number one.
See, now here's the thing. I have seen Wonder Woman twice. I saw it once with my friends, and I saw it once with my cousin Brooke in theaters. So I know how my opinion for a fact is. I think as I'm growing to watch movies more and more, whenever I see them in the theater, I feel like I need to see them a second time to reassure my opinion, because then I'm looking at every aspect. I'm not just like enjoying within the self the actual theater dynamic and like environment that I'm in, because that always does play a part every time I see a movie for the first time. But this is the second movie, and I might see Spider-Man Homecoming again for a second time with my cousin John. So I might be able to get a better view of how I actually think of the movie. That is, unless I see Dunkirk this weekend. Nino, let's go see Dunkirk this weekend.
Let's go see Dunkirk.
I'll go see it. You know what? I'll look up times in 10 minutes, but still.
Yeah.
Let's go see Dunkirk this weekend.
Yeah.
But I might go see Spider-Man Homecoming again with my cousin John, and then I think I'll give a better perspective. But as of right now, I have Spider-Man Homecoming slightly over Wonder Woman, but I think that might only be because I really like the character of Spider-Man more than Wonder Woman, and that's also partially because I grew up with like the original 3 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
So that's why I need to see it a second time to really understand. Like, with Wonder Woman, like, yeah, we said before, the final act battle and Ares is and also the kid acting in the beginning is really terrible. I saw it again for the second time.
But kid actors, I don't really hold them to a great standard, so I don't care.
I know, but
I don't really value that.
I was also then kind of just like, you really couldn't just do one more take where she says that line a little bit better. But
does it take away from the overall movie?
Overall,
no, not at all.
It could probably be a 5 out of 5 if I see it maybe one more time, and I'm like, yeah, I know for a fact it's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
But then with Spider-Man Homecoming, that's why I need to see it a second time to really reassure what I do like and don't like.
The thing that Spider-Man Homecoming definitely has over Wonder Woman is that the fact that Vulture is a fantastic villain.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel finally got a movie villain right other than Loki.
I would say, okay, you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Sorry about this. They have only 3 good villains. They have Loki, they have Vulture, and they have Ego the villain. The villain in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like, I saw him and I was like, yeah, great villain.
Yeah.
And then basically I said the same thing about Vulture. So if you really like Vulture, you'll like Ego the Living Planet. But basically, it's like, even though the rest of the movie, I'm not going to get into it because I don't have time. And I also don't feel like it. Basically, the movie with Spider-Man Homecoming, like, I feel like if I do watch that more and more, I am going to love it as much as I love those original 3. Yes, I'm including Spider-Man 3. Deal with it. Puts on sunglasses. Deal with it, guys. I like that. That one's my favorite. Granted, Spider-Man 2 I can acknowledge is the best, but Spider-Man 3 is my favorite because I think everything that does work in that works and everything that doesn't work in that works. But it's probably just for me personally, so maybe don't take that opinion so serious.
Well, we all have our guilty pleasures.
We do. We do, but to me, when I say guilty pleasure, I would say maybe more like a Kong Skull Island or a Super Mario Brothers movie.
Kong Skull Island...
To me...
I do not think that Kong Skull Island is a guilty pleasure. I just think that, even though I did say earlier today in our discussions about some other movies, that I felt that that some aspects of it were so bad that it's hilariously good.
Like when he has that sword, I said that last season. When he has that sword, he's going through the screen smoke. I laughed out loud at that and probably ruined the experience for everyone else.
Yeah,
both times.
But when I say it's like a guilty pleasure, where I'm like, just busting out laughing at the ridiculousness of everything, no, not at all.
Okay, yeah.
But
you're not
Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
that and Superman 3. Oh, Superman 3 to me.
With
is
my boy
the
Richard Pryor.
that to me
Or at least previously.
that to me is the pinnacle of guilty pleasure
That is
movies.
very guilty pleasure.
I'm laughing at and with everything.
Yes.
But it's not a 5 out of 5
Yeah,
because
no, not at all.
unlike Spider-Man 3,
Not at all.
everything that doesn't work there's really nothing that works.
No,
I guess.
nothing works. Not at all.
Nothing works except for Christopher Reeve as Superman,
Yeah.
but
And
that's
even then,
expected.
it's like he
even then
not
it's
exactly his best Superman.
it's a phone in.
It is. I would say my top guilty pleasure, which I don't know is technically a guilty pleasure since I actually think it's a good movie for some reason, is Face Off.
Oh no, yeah, that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's like a guilty
that's
pleasure
not.
or it's like legitimately good. I don't know. What should I characterize it as?
I have seen Face Off. I think it's legitimately good. Granted, it was on How Did This Get Made, a movie podcast where all they do is review movies that are terrible.
Mhm.
But I've seen it,
But it's not,
and like even that,
it is not a bad movie at all.
even them on the podcast, even they say that it's a pretty it's like a legitly good movie.
It's just freaking bonkers, and that's what's so good.
I really like that movie. Okay, let me go quickly through my list because we are running out of time and I want to get to our new segment, Question Bag. Okay, Old Dogs with John Travolta and Robin Williams. Insane. The Country Bears. Okay, actually Mr. Nanny might be the top guilty pleasure because it's Hulk Hogan playing a nanny to kids that are essentially torturing and trying to murder him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Superman 3, Jingle All the Way. That one's pretty good.
God.
Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin I've actually been back and forth on for whether or not it's guilty pleasure or I legit
Honestly,
hate it.
Some days it's a guilty pleasure. Some days it just
I
sucks.
think it does depend on the mood. You're right. Super Mario Brothers, Halloween 3, the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it. That one is pretty amazing. Deck the Halls with Danny DeVito, Jack Frost, Gooby, a movie no one's ever heard of. Okay, Staying Alive is also pretty great. I'll tell you about that later, but Staying Alive is essentially the sequel to Saturday Night Fever. A View to a Kill, the arguably worst James Bond movie. Jack the Giant Slayer, and Hop. Hop is really bad.
There's actually something I want to talk about that's related to movies very quickly because I know we're running out of time.
Okay.
What have you seen the new Kingsman trailer?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
Great.
All right, cool. And
Wait, I gotta go to the bathroom, but still. We're doing this in my house, by the way. In case you didn't know, I am not back at High Point. Let's go to
because I know you really like the first Kingsman movie.
I do really like it. And I think the second one is
it's a
gonna be
really good movie.
And
so
I said this.
I just want to get your thoughts very quickly.
I said this earlier to my cousin John. I love how they say the American Kingsmen are called statesmen because it's so lazy. That's the laziest thing to call, basically, an American version of Kingsman. But whatever, it's probably going to be great. Let's go to our new segment, the Question Bag. Question Bag! That's not the song. I got to think of something for that. I wasn't expecting me.
Preliminary song.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I usually go with teleportation.
I usually go with super speed. Now, that's probably because, again,
It's kind of similar.
Yeah, but me personally, I just am one to do stuff really fast and, try to finish my whether it's finishing my homework really fast or run a race, everything, basically. I just try to do it all really fast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, to me, super speed is, the most helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take teleportation?
Because I am very scared of being late to a bunch of places. Plus, if I'm on campus and my class is, on the south side of campus where I'm on the north side, I don't want to take those 20 minutes to walk there. When I can just snap my fingers and, boom, be there already.
Now, granted, I could probably go on for another 10 minutes on why I would take super speed.
But we don't have that kind of time.
We don't have time, and I almost wish it wasn't that question because I'd like to hear Dan. You know what? Maybe I think I'll keep that question in the question bag because I'd like to hear Dan.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. This is all basically a preseason episode, essentially, for the 2017-2018 sophomore season of the SFLOPRO show. Nino, what would you like to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter at Nino Olivier 15. You can also follow me on Snapchat at LE Nino Olivier. And I think that's about it.
And you can also follow me on Twitter at SFLOPRO, Avi. The Avi's not in the Twitter follow, but you should know that. You know, I think I might have an SFLOPRO show Twitter. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm thinking about it. So
the rest of us has their own.
I might do that, yeah. Also, listen to The Young and the Rest of Us. That's Logan's radio show. And Dan has the Trunk podcast, but I think he's only released one, preview episode. So I don't know if that's real or not.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Nino,
Sorry, Dan, I have no idea.
Anything else quickly?
We're going to go enjoy tonight.
Oh my god, we're going to go to a party, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the SFLOPRO Show with your host, Sam Flowers, and your casual co-hosts, Dan and Logan. Join us every week, 7 to 8, every Thursday.
The SFLOPRO Show was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. Some editing may or may not have occurred between the original air date and now. Listen in live only on HPU Radio.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.